hello to the IQOO 12. Yes, IQOO. I kept wanting to call it IQ, but either way, it's a fantastic phone, and it just came out today. So a lot of cool things go on here. One of the most important you're going to want to pay attention to, Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. So this is the first phone that I've got that I can talk about that has the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 in it, and it's nice. I mean, 30% overall power improvement over the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, 20% more efficient, 10% in the battery life department. So does it actually play out how you think it would? Maybe, maybe so. Here's some things with this phone. It's beautiful. 6.78-inch display. It says it goes up to 3,000 nits brightness, but the high maximum brightness you're going to get on manual is 1,400 nits. If you have it in like auto mode and you're outside and it kicks in, that's where you can get that high nits brightness of 3,000. So normally it has pretty good brightness, but that max brightness outside with auto mode on, it can really kick in. 250 megapixel cameras on the back, a 64 megapixel. This phone, one unexpected thing that I really got out of is fantastic zoom. So I took my kids for their birthday party to a boxing match the other day. It was Garcia versus Duarte here in Houston, and I was really impressed. Not only because it took such good zoom photos, but also it did it in low light capabilities. So I think the camera's pretty darn good on here. Little thing that's kind of frustrating, the selfie camera maxes out at 1080p 30 frames per second. And that's crazy because you can get 8K video on the back, 4K, 4K 60, all that great stuff. And then you go to the front and it's like 1080p at 30. And I don't know why we keep getting these phones that do this, but it does with the 16 megapixel camera, which it doesn't even have EIS. So the photos it takes are okay, but on the front, the back primary camera, the photos are much more impressive. The zoom is really impressive. It's got macro mode. It's got pretty decent video on there. And that's kind of it when it comes to that department. But that's not really what this phone is designed for. This phone is designed for pure speed. It's supposed to be really, really fast. And indeed, it is. It even has a big vapor chamber in it. It has a gaming mode dedicated for gaming, and you can do some serious gaming on here. One thing I will say, though, if you're going to do some serious gaming on your phone, this is not sponsored, by the way. I bought this. It's sponsored by my wallet. I bought this Backbone controller. It takes gaming to the next level, especially on this phone. So you just pop it in. It connects down to the bottom into the USB-C port, and it's like basically like having a portable Nintendo Switch with your phone, but it works with Call of Duty, it works with PUBG, it works with all these other great games, and that really takes your game to the next level. Anyway, so I bought this for 79 bucks over at Best Buy. I think it's normally $99. It's on sale right now. But anyway, it makes a huge difference in overall gameplay, and that's the thing. When we're at these games now, like you can run this 144 frames per second, 144 hertz on certain instances, 144 hertz. Like that's a lot of serious refresh rate there. And you can really enjoy the gaming experience on here, but you're still limited. It doesn't have shoulder buttons. You're limited to touching everything on the screen. That really irks me. So I went and I bought that. I'm like, okay, this is a little bit better, and I highly recommend that. It uses the battery off the phone. So selfie camera's okay. Primary camera's pretty darn good, especially with the zoom stuff. And overall daily performance, like I said, you got the vapor chamber. It's got a new first of its kind graphite battery that allows it to be 5,000 milliamps, but be like 9% slimmer and smaller than last year. So zero lag on startup and things like that. So UFS 4, it's got starting off 256 gigabytes of storage, 12 gigs of RAM. So you got pretty much everything that you need right out of the gate. It doesn't have expandable storage. It doesn't have wireless charging. It's like IP64 dust and water resistant. So it doesn't even have like IP68. It was either IP54, IP64, yeah. IP64 dust and water resistance. So there are a couple things lacking here that you would typically kind of expect in a flagship phone in the US. But I say this in a lot of other videos because I talk about like OnePlus and other phones. I don't care about wireless charging. When you have 120 watt wired charging, comes with a charger in the box, comes with the case, comes with a built-in screen protector, and it's a really well designed phone, just under Quad HD Plus, and it gives you a high resolution screen, HDR10 Plus certified. And it's beautiful, very minimal bezels. It's got the little punch out camera on it, and it's nice, it's slim, it's just over 200 grams, and they did, I think, a really good job. This resin feel on the back of the phone, it's got this combination with BMW Motorsports. You can see the little Motorsports logo there, the red, blue, and black. built for speed. That's kind of their thing. And this is one of the first phones that we've got this year with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. We're in 2023. We're not in 2024 yet. So 2024 is just a few weeks away. We'll be seeing this Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 go into the S24 Ultra. But it's in this phone now. I think there are some noticeable things here. And it does pretty good when it comes to gaming. Like, I know a lot of people like to go out, they do benchmark testing. I could care less about that stuff. You could probably care less about that stuff. It runs all the best games really well, and it basically maxes them out. So, except for exclusive things, like you've got some games with like the iPhone that have exclusive software modes. You've got some other games with other phones with exclusive software modes. It's just kind of the way things are going right now. The big push with this chip, of course, it's got ray tracing. It's got better ray tracing than last year. We're just not really seeing a whole lot of this in the actual software itself. Like, not to discredit the phone, but these chips, they advertise all this console level gaming. There's just not console level games on Android yet. We have a few with the iPhone, like Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Assassin's Creed. Android really needs to bring some of those games over to take advantage of these capabilities, because you basically got like a gaming PC in the palm of your hands running Android, but there's just not a whole lot that really pushes it, other than, of course, we talk about the typical Genshin Impact and people who still play that game. But anyway, so we're waiting on that. Also, when it comes to the AI, it's got Android 14. It's got their version of Android on here, and it's okay. It comes with a lot of bloatware, and I had to make all these folders over off to the side on my third page to just shove all the bloatware in there, because you get a lot of unnecessary notifications. There's a lot of unnecessary apps. I wish it was just stock, but the haptics are good. The screen is nice. And what I've seen with a lot of phones lately is we're going with this flat screen design, which is what we're kind of leading up to with the S23 series phones, moving away from the curved edge. And maybe it's finally, maybe this is the year, or 2024 is the year we're losing the curved edge display. I don't know. But the overall design is nice. Stereo speakers, dual SIM. I tested it out with AT&T and T-Mobile. So this is important for my audience here in the US. AT&T, it doesn't get 5G. I enabled 5G. I turned it on. It's not getting it. It does get voice over LTE, so you can use it with AT&T, but no 5G. It does work with 5G on T-Mobile, so that means with Metro and Mint, you'll also be covered that way as well. So if you want to get it, pop a SIM card in from T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, you're going to be golden, and you'll have 5G. So performance-wise, I like it. It's a beautiful phone, all-day battery life. Like, I think you should be able to get 7 hours doing like a mix of different things, and you're going to want to do a mix of things with this phone. You've got power, sophistication. It's gorgeous. Like, I've showed this phone to a lot of people, and they're like, wow, what is that phone? And I'm like, well, by a lot of people, I mean my kids. I don't have a lot of friends, but I've showed my kids and my wife, and they're like, wow, that is a beautiful looking phone. And it has like this kind of resin feel on the back of it that feels really nice and sleek. It feels really premium. And I like the cameras. I think the cameras do a pretty darn good job. I like the color science on here. And I apologize. Apparently, IQOO wanted me to have watermarks on the photos for the video. I didn't do that. So I apologize, guys, but yeah, I do like the cameras on the back end of this phone. So should you buy it? I think it's about $600 American. I was looking, it's a little over $500 in euros, and I think that's pretty good. This is like a smaller company, is part of Vivo. Vivo makes excellent stuff, right? We know Vivo makes great stuff. IQOO, this is my first time with one of their phones, and it's been really refreshing. It's nice. It's nice to take a break from the Samsungs and the Sonys and the Motorola's and the Googles and all those guys, and see that there's a company out there that's making a really good phone at a good price that gives you all the stuff you want from like a normal flagship perspective. Like I said, no wireless charging, no reverse wireless charging, but 120 watt wireless charging. Like, you charge this thing like under half an hour. Now, sadly, if you buy in the US, it doesn't have a 120 watt wired charger. It's got the European brick. It's not something you're going to use here in the States. But you still get the charging cable, you get the SIM card, you get the case, you get the screen protector, you get all those things. And overall, I do have to commend them. I think they did a good job. I think it's very powerful. And I know a lot of people are asking, okay, have you noticed any difference? There's been a lot of questions about thermals, a lot of questions about performance. Like, the power is there. It does even if you're playing, it does throttle after a while, as most phones do. But it takes a good like 20, 30 minutes before it starts really throttling while you're doing gameplay. The gameplay on it, I think, is good. Beautiful screen, good brightness, good contrast. And of course, it comes with Android 14 straight out of the box, so that's really nice too. And overall, I think they did a good job with the phone. It's been a good, positive first experience. But from a practical day-to-day perspective, it saves you a ton of money from like the $1,000 smartphones. It does work in the US with 5G. It does game really well. It's got the Play Store, Google services, all that stuff. You're not missing out on anything. And Yeah, I like the phone quite a bit. I've been impressed with it. Again, it's nice. It comes with everything in the box. It's got the BMW Motorsports collaboration. You see that on the box there as well. So it seems like they've gone through some great lengths to try and make a really good phone here. And I think it shows up in a lot of ways. Again, it doesn't have really good video on the front. The selfie camera on the front is okay, not matched up really well with the back camera, which is significantly better. And then no wireless charging, IP64. So that's where some of the cost savings comes in. But those things, I think a lot of people maybe care about more or less. I know I wish it had IP68, but IP64, if you drop it and splash it, it's going to be okay. It just can't be submerged in the water. I don't care that much about that. I don't care about wireless charging. Super fast wired charging for me is the way to go. So like the trade-offs that they make at the price point with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3, excellent gaming, really good gaming performance. Yeah, I think that it's good so far. The only thing that's kind of missing is there's not really any influence on AI here. And maybe that's going to be something we're going to talk about later. Maybe that's something they're planning on relying on third-party apps like Bard or whatever this new Samsung AI coming out is in the near future. The chip is capable. Like the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 really does have more power and sophistication in the AI machine learning department, but it just doesn't show up in this phone. So this one I think is still geared towards wrapped around, give it tons of power. Let's make a great day-to-day performance and gaming experience. And I think they do that. I mean, it's 100 times zoom. But like I said, you saw some of the photos. Fantastic zoom on this device. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, of course, please go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.